Welcome to the Math Record. Today I'll be covering the second part of the ICTM Regional 2016 Division AA Precalculus, which I'll be answering questions 16 and 20. Okay, number 16. The roots for x in x squared, x cubed plus ax squared plus bx minus 105 are 2 more than the roots for x in x cubed minus dx squared plus ex minus f is equal to 0. And then find the sum of 4d plus 2e plus f. So, we know that the roots for x cubed minus dx squared plus ex minus f, so we're finding def is equal to, if we had to write it in root form, basically, is x minus r1, so the first root, x minus the second root, so r2, and the x minus third root, which is r3. So we can write it in this form. So basically from there, I know that d, because this is a polynomial, is equal to the sum of the roots, so r plus r2 plus r3. E is the sum of the product of the roots, so it'll be r1, r2 plus r1, r3 plus r2, r3. And then f is equal to the product of all three, so r1, r2, and r3. Okay, so and then from number 16, we could do the same thing of what we did for this equation, which is x cubed plus ax squared plus bx minus 105. A and b are variables, so they're not going to give us anything, but the 105 is the one that matters, because 105 is the product of the three roots. And we know that those three roots are 2 more than the roots of each of these. So that means 105 is equal to r plus um, 2, r1 plus 2, r2 plus 2, and r3 plus 2. Okay? So that basically gives us a way to think about this easier instead of kind of finding out the three variables is basically what makes 105? Well, 105 divided by 5 is 21, and then divide by 3 and 7, right? So that will give us 3, 5, and 7. So we could just choose three values for R1, R2, and R3. So let's say R1 is 1, so that makes R3. R2 is equal to 3, so 3 plus 2 is 5, so that makes our 5. So to make our 7, R3 has to equal 5. So R1, R2, and R3. Now we could plug it all into here to get our DEF, right? So our D is the sum of it, so 1 plus 3 plus 5, so that's equal to 9. Our E is the product of them, so it will be 3 plus our 5, which is 8, plus our 15, which is 23. And F is the product, which is 1 times 3 times 5, which is equal to 15. Now for D, that's 36. 2E, that is 46. And then F, which is 15. So 36 plus 46, that is 82. 82 plus 15, that is 97. And that's your answer for number 16. Okay. Number 20. In the diagram with coordinates shown, AC is 51 and BC is 55, the ratio of triangle PAB to PAC to PBC is 1, 2, and 3. Find the order pair that represents P. Okay, so let's kind of draw a diagram. And then we have something like this. Okay, so 0, 0 to 26, 0, that means this length is 26. We know this length is 51 because they gave it to us on the first sentence. And this one's also 55. Okay, so we know this coordinate and we know this coordinate. This is 26, 0. We know this is 0, 0. So what is this coordinate? Well, first, what we could do is that we could find the y coordinate because that's just basically the height. So first we need to find the area. So to get the area of this, we just use Heron's or Hero's formula. I don't, they have like same names. Is 26 plus 51 plus 55, and then divide by 2. So you get a value of 66. And then 66 minus 51, that's 15. 66 minus 26, that's 40. And 66 minus 55, that's 11. And then these four numbers multiply to each other, so 66 times 15 times 40 times 11. Take the square root of that, and that should give us your area. So our area is equal to 660. Okay, so we have that. So how do we get our height? So you get the height of this. So the height of this triangle, well, it's just 26 times the height divided by 2 is equal to the area. So it'll be 660 times 2 divided by 26, and we'll get a height that is equal to 660 over 13. Okay, so that's our y value. Now, if that's our height, right, we could just make a right triangle, so we could just use the Pythagorean theorem. So then we could just use 51 squared minus 660 divided by 13 squared, and then take the square root. So just using our calculator, that means our x-coordinate is 63 over 13. Okay, so these are really, really big numbers, so I just recommend you just using your calculator. Okay, so we find our value for this. Now we can find our value for p. So we could do the same thing here because this is just another triangle. So base 26 times our height divided by 2 is equal to our area. And remember the ratio, this is 1x to 2x to 3x. So the area of this is 1/6 of the entire thing because 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So 1/6 of the entire thing. So 660 divided by 6 is 110. So 110 times 2 divided by 26 should give us our height, which is 110 over 13. So we know this value. This coordinate is x comma 110 over 13. These two x's are different. Actually, let's just use a different variable. Let's call this 3a, 2a, and 1a. It's just kind of confusing if we use the same variables for everything, which is what I usually do. And then basically what we could do now is we could use this triangle to find the last one. This is 2a over 6a, which is 1/3 of the entire area. So we have base. I mean, we could just use something like shoelace. We could use the shoelace theorem, which is pretty simple. You could just use the right point and then go straight around. So then we have 63 over 13, 660 over 13. And next point is 0, 0. And next one is x 110 over 13. And then you go back to the first point, which is 63 over 13, 660 over 13. And then once you do the 2 by 2 matrix for each of these, multiply by half. So once we multiply this by half, we should get an area that's equal to 2/6, because this is 2a over 6a of 660. Okay, so now we just need to find x. So let's just move this up. So remember, we just need to find x, and this will give us our coordinate. So a 2 by 2 matrix, 0 times 63 over 13, that's just 0. And then 0 times 660 over 13, so that's minus 0. 110 over 13 times 0, 0, minus x times 0 is 0. And then 660 over 13 times x is 660 over 13x, minus 63 over 13 times 110 over 13, so that's 63 over 13 times 110 over 13. And then take half of that, which give us our area of our triangle. So that's just the idea of the shoelace theorem. And that's equal to 2/6 of 660, which is just 220. And then you could just use your, and then all you have to do is just basically use your calculator to find your value for x. So we have 220 times 2 plus 63 over 13 times 110 over 13, and then divided by 660 multiplied by 13, and you should get a value of x, which is 739 over 78. So that is our x value, and our y value, remember, was just this. So then we have 739 over 78 and 110 over 13 as our answer. And that is our answer for question 20. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next math record.